Hello everyone, this is Yael from Yael Alchemy, and I'm here to bring you the Twin Flame Weekly message for the week of October 28 to November 3. Yes, it is the week of Halloween, Samain. So whatever you're celebrating, well, happy Halloween or happy Samhain to everyone. I wasn't able to give a reading last week because there were several things that happened, which I shall tell you about. But before I forget, it kind of creeped me out. I checked my subscribers. It was 6,666 or something like that. Okay, that's why somebody commented about, I actually didn't understand her comment. Okay. I don't know if she was referring to me or whatever. And anyway, I just made the connection. So, if you would like to change that number and you are listening to this video, please hit on the subscribe button. It is free and it would be a lot of help. Anyway, as I was saying, I wasn't able to give a reading last week because I received terrible news. Okay, my grandfather, as you know, if you've been listening to my channel, I have extended family in the States, and sometimes I do go there to visit. Anyway, my grandfather, who was based there, he suffered a massive heart attack. He's okay now. He's stable, and many thanks for that. Okay, and he's undergoing dialysis for other issues right now, and it would help a lot if you would send love, light, and prayers for my grandfather. Anyway, so we thought that it was a pretty bad time, and I was looking for basically funds to buy my ticket. I still haven't raised that much, and then I found out that my sisters all planned, my sisters from Canada and my sister from here, all came up with a plan to all go there at the same time without including me. Okay, and that was very hurtful. But they do that all the time. It's like it is a burden I have to carry sometimes with my family. Okay. In any case, please send prayers and love and light. Okay. I did perform long distance Reiki on my grandfather. I had a lot of impressions, and I did convey it to my family, but this is my hesitation when you actually talk about these things, energy work, to basically non-believers. Okay, I don't know what to say, but I did, for those, I also gave him RASHEEBA because they said he was very weak, and apparently he perked up right after, but of course they will attribute that to whatever the doctors did. But the thing is, you have 7 different bodies, and the medical aspect of things deals with your physical body. And we all know that how you are in the rest of your other bodies really trickle down to what is manifested in the physical. So for those who experienced getting a RASHEEBA healing from me, you know how intense the energies are, and it does help, especially clearing toxins when you're talking about physicality. Okay, anyway, so that's my news. Oh, yeah. And one of my friends lost her beloved dog. Okay, and 10 years old, and like she's single, so her dog, which she held from birth, and until death was very beloved to her. And I received news of that on the same day that I received news about my grandfather. And I was like a filter because I could feel her pain because I went through the same thing. And although we have many friends in common who have lost a parent, a loved one, a friend, I was the only one with the same situation as her. We're both childless, and we've raised a dog, and so I was helping her through that, really letting her vent out her pain, and when she was rather okay after the cremation already, and when I say okay, that's relatively speaking, because she wouldn't stop bawling out and crying and just grieving, basically just grieving. But a couple of days later, she was compelled to visit me, and I lived several cities away. Okay, and she brought cremated ashes of her dog, and yeah, we had lunch and talk, and we were just thinking that it is rather heartbreaking. And some people who haven't raised pets of their own, whom they treated as family, think of them when something like this happens. They actually don't know how to react. Because for them, it's just a dog. It's just an animal, put on the level of just an animal. Okay, and that you're familiar with that kind. Most animal movies or have villains that are like that, thinking that the pet is just a body, an animal, and of no consequence, basically, when compared to humans. So, and we were thinking that, just imagine if you did have a child and you knew that your child could live no longer than 10 to 15 years, and in the meantime that you're raising your child, you know that your child's going to be taken away from you soon. But regardless, you still give your whole heart, you care for them, you protect them, you teach them. And so that's very, very heartbreaking. And that's why when it comes to humans, there's a saying that no child should die before their parent, because it is very, very heartbreaking. Anyway, and that also leads me to the acceptance Reiki healing, which I will talk about later. There, okay? But for now, let's get on with the reading, and let's see what energies are in store for us for this week, okay? For the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck, of course, I've already prayed over the cards and shuffled them, and I'm really intrigued is a word when Spirit asks me to use this deck. Okay, very image rich and kind of heavy. Okay, but we'll see. And here, because at the bottom of the deck, which would represent the general energies of the reading, is here. 5 of Swords. Can you see that? Defeat. Okay? And it's not just those two stories that I told you about, because I've heard other twins were on their way to really getting married, and suddenly they split up, and there's that heartbreak, that loss. Okay, so there is this general energy of defeat, losing in the realm of 3D, and I use that word loosely because it's very myopic. It's using a different standard. Okay, so there's this sense of loss that I have been talking about, and I'm pretty sure others are experiencing at this time. Because the energy of the collective, as I see it, the collective is very rather quiet and subdued right now. Is this loss, and perhaps it's because we're going into the third quarter of the year. We're going into fall. Okay, autumn. We don't have it here in our country, in my country, but there's a sense of the dying. Okay, the purging of the leaves, getting things ready for something new to come. But there's a sense of loss that comes with that, because parting is not always such sweet sorrow. Sometimes it's just sorrow. And at this stage in our ascension journey, there are some partings that necessarily have to be done, regardless, despite loving those persons, those members of your family. And I don't mean a physical parting, okay? It's not limited to that. But there is a recognition there that you no longer vibrate on the same level, and they lack the capacity to understand you. Okay, and this is why in this ascension journey the mysteries are unveiled to us a little at a time. Okay, because you're being readied. If you don't, if you aren't quite ready for that esoteric knowledge to come into your possession, even if it does come prematurely, and you come across that certain knowledge, that certain wisdom, you won't understand it because you're not ready to receive it yet. Okay, so anyway, so there, general energy of defeat, and this is a defeat of the will. Okay, it's this is when what you wanted to happen. We have the magus here, the magician. This is when your plans kind of fell through. Okay, what you wanted to happen didn't necessarily happen the way you envisioned it, and so that is it's sort of like whatever you willed was vetoed by circumstances that were beyond your control. And I was supposed to make a video about this last week because Merlin had a channeled message through I don't know if it's Rana or no through one of the twins, Ross and Carla. Okay, she was channeling Merlin, and Merlin was explaining why ascension was very much delayed, and how the dark energies are really going double time to thwart the efforts of twins, of light workers, and slowing down the ascension process of others. Anyway, I was thinking I'd ask her permission so that I could tell you the entire message, but I forgot it because I was overtaken by events. Anyway, check that out when you have time. See, because look at this. We have the Fool in reverse, and that is a new beginning, also for a planet. You can see there, but it's still in reverse because this was thwarted. The will was thwarted, and that's kind of put the twins off balance. Okay, off center. See, we have the Two of Swords here, which would normally indicate balance, but Spirit is saying that we have Eight of Swords, interference, but it's reversed, so it is a minor interference. Don't worry, you've done most of the groundwork. Okay, and so once we get past this minor interference, we have the Four of Swords again, and that's going to restore the equilibrium. Okay, so there, that would be the general energy of the twins. Now let's go on to the divine masculine. Okay, I'm going to open all his cards first. We have here the Queen of Discs. We have cruelty. We have power. And we have the Prince of Wands. Okay, give me a minute here. Okay, we start with the Queen of Discs. Okay, Divine Masculine being very hands-on right now. This is him basically making sure that everything's taken care of. Okay, trying to be fair, but it's more, you know, when it's kind of a haphazard panic energy that I'm getting, in the sense that, you know, when two of your kids are fighting, okay, and you're doing something else, and then so you scold both of them, and you don't really care who's in the right, who's in the wrong. They're both in the wrong, just for creating a ruckus, okay, and you just want to sort things out. And so that's it. It's that kind of energy. We're in trying to placate everything to the minimum acceptable level. Okay, the minimum acceptable level. And that's why here we have the Nine of Swords, because he's not quite he's very, very worried that he's not doing quite a good job as he hopes he would, in trying to either put out all the fires, trying to see that everybody has what they need, what they want, whether it's emotionally, whether it's materially. But we have the Four of Discs here, which really speaks to the worries of the Divine Masculine, that the people under his wing, okay, metaphorically, physically, it is a tangible problem of resources. It's almost a worry about not having enough resources to cover everyone, okay, and that would be including himself. And this worry is related basically to finances, okay? And while he is trying to be fair, that's not quite cutting it, because like I said, it has to do with establishing whether it's his authority, his dominion over, let's call them his subjects, but that's not totally accurate, but the things that he is in charge of, let's say that, okay? And he has to power through these two, the Nine of Swords and the Four of Discs. He has to power through that, and this he is going to do, because we have here the Prince of Wands, and the Prince of Wands here uses intellect and reason, and most of all that desire, okay, that passion to power through these problems. Okay, so this won't stay there a long time. This is merely clarifying what area he is most concerned about and is sort of tormented or anguished. But look, with his willpower, with his passion, he will be able to it's almost because this is almost a very, it's active, but it's passive, okay? It is placating, but not really taking a stand. The energy here with the Queen of Discs, the energy that I'm getting is very, how do you say that? pandering, okay? When you pander, if your divine masculine is so caught in between his relationship with his karmic or not, it's because that he doesn't quite know how to safely navigate away without displeasing one party over the other, without incurring the wrath of one party. Okay, but this his desire to power through that sort of ennui, that's going to help him get through that and solve the problems that he has, to lessen his worry about that. Okay, and here the wands will also help him establish, gain more resources. Okay, because if that's the problem and he's telling himself, then let's go about fixing this, so I don't have to worry about all this. Okay, so which makes sense. And let's look at the card for the divine masculine. And the card we have here is the Queen of Swords. And look, Queen of Swords, very astute. She's getting her truth from the divine, and being really authentic. And that is what is powering the divine masculine, this energy of being gentle and yet stern. And sometimes people find him intimidating because, you know what, some people get really, really insecure when they come across somebody who is self-possessed. Okay, and a self-possessed person is not only confident. All the self-help books will call it confidence. You exude confidence, but confidence can be faked. Self-possession can rarely be faked because it is an energy. It goes beyond your external actions, your external demeanor. You can just say it's just a fact that this person is self-possessed. Okay? And look at the learned masters. They don't need to be squirrely would be the word. They don't need much movement, much fanfare. It doesn't matter because they have that self-possession. They have within themselves the knowledge of what is authentic, what is true, what is important. Okay, and that's what's going to help the divine masculine, and that's what's fueling this desire to power through, to live in his truth. Okay, so if he needs this action, this powering through to solve this problem, then he's going to do it, just so that he can perform his role as caretaker, as and he's appearing as the queen now, because remember, he is recently integrated the divine feminine. Okay, now let's go to the divine feminines. First card we have for her is the universe. Then we have abundance. Then we have sun card. Then again, we have oppression. Okay. Here we have the universe card. And the universe card often speaks to a completion in the journey. Okay. However, when there is completion, it is a... This reminds me of the saying wherein so sorry. All journeys have secret destinations that the traveler is unaware of. Okay, so we went on this journey, and now that maybe you've learned your lessons, maybe you've accomplished beginner's course in ascension, and you find yourself in the place where you find yourself in right now. okay? And that's what represents this completion. That's why the universe came up. And then we have your abundance, and this is a recognition of love, of joy. You found love and joy here in this journey. Maybe it doesn't pertain merely to you, to you being in union with your twin flame, but it is a different kind of joy and love and abundance, even only if it is that joy and love that you found in finding like-minded people, finding fellow twin flames, light workers, starseeds, even if you are not in constant contact with each other, whether you don't know each other personally on a 3D level, but you know their energy signature. You know that they accompany you through your ups and downs in life, okay? And that's what is being talked about here. And then we have here the Sun card, okay? And the Sun card points to this love that you have discovered in the course of your journey. And here we see, look at this. We have a heart, and the heart is on wings, and the sun has an eye, okay? And the eye here is represents the pineal gland, wherein your third eye has been, that used to be calcified, has been made clear. You can see beyond the illusion. And this is why we always talk about being multidimensional avatars, okay? Because you reach that stage wherein you can see more than what is being shown. And here, so basically this is a sense of accomplishment, okay? A sense of accomplishment on the journey of the divine feminine. However, we have the next card here. And the next card that we have is oppression. Okay, there is something that still, that is very much emphasized and highlighted, that contributes, that puts a damper on these energies. When the divine feminine is supposed to be riding on a high, vibrating high, because that's what we're supposed to do right now. And in order not only to assist our twin flame, but more so to assist the planet, right? Keep our vibration high. That's why we have to transmute. That's why alchemy is is like the operative word, okay? Especially when you're incarnated here on earth and you are subject to so many different kinds of energies and the exercise of other people's free will, okay? And that's what's put a damper on the accomplishments of the divine feminine thus far, okay? And that's why there is oppression there. Whether this comes in the form of people who don't appreciate you, as a twin flame, who don't believe that you are a divine being, people that are causing all these interference, okay? And you know what? Okay, they were just reminding me. One of the things that oppresses twin flames, because and light workers too, is we have a very low tolerance for falsity, for lies, for hypocrisy, right? Because your radar for what is authentic is very, very fine-tuned, okay? So when you come across a liar, or when you come across somebody who says something, all these nice words come out of their mouth, but either their actions don't match. Anything, it's just a press release. It's like very, very irritating. It's, how do you say it? It lies heavy, okay? Because it's so much in contrast to the energy that you are vibing with. And that is part of the oppression of the divine feminines. And I'm sure all of us have come across a a lot of hypocritical people, people who lie, and all that. But let's check this out and see if it sheds light more on this card. Okay, here we have the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles really talks about family. So I don't know, like I said earlier in my intro, I was telling you about it, that my very dysfunctional family is, you know, giving me a lot of pain again, a lot of heartache. That's my experience, and I don't know if it's the same with you. So let me know in the comments. But basically, this is what's causing this oppression right now. Okay? Because this oppression, an effect of this oppression is inertia. And when you do not want to move, then how will you go to the next stage? Okay, so this brings the question to mind of some divine feminines who are asking that, is this it? Is this it? Is this all there is? Okay, it's like they reminded me with this card. There is a play, well, it's written in my language, it's a Filipino play. It's called Kaharian ng Araw, which translated means Kingdom of the Sun. Okay, and the play was basically about this man who was searching for the Kingdom of the Sun. And he's gone through so many trials just to reach it. And, well, basically that's what the story is about. But once he gets there and he reaches the Kingdom of the Sun, because he was the only successful one, he realizes that it's very lonely there, because he's the only one that's reached it. And so goes the story of a lot of twin flames who have gone further ahead in their ascension journey. It's very lonely. You don't vibe like the rest. You don't understand. They don't understand you anymore. And because they're not moving ahead in their own personal ascension, they fail to understand you. Okay? But it's not their fault, but you get hurt nonetheless. It's not their fault because it's like when your computer has only, 2 gig of RAM, okay, memory. It necessarily can't open all the other applications because it's not built for that. For that kind of unlimited compassion, for that understanding that is deep and comprehensive. They're not built for that. Okay? Even if it is hurtful, nonetheless, it is something that we have to come to terms with. Okay, so I'm going to pick a card in the middle for both twins. Here, see, the Emperor. Things have to be fixed. Okay, for the divine masculine, we have this, his situation with his worries about resources. Okay, the resources that will back up, that will need to support his living in his truth. For the divine feminines, it is this oppression. Okay, and that has to be fixed, if only putting it in the proper place mentally, conceptual. Okay, if these relationships, because some of the relationships can no longer really be fixed. It's like we used to go on retreats. I grew up in a Catholic school, and I remember one of the priests that was our retreat master would remind us before we go back to our families that before you go back, you will think that everybody has changed, but it's only your perspective that has changed. Okay, because you come out of the retreat wanting to be a better person and all that. But when you go out there, when you go back, or you get out of the retreat, everybody else will have remained the same. They did not go through that experience, which is basically the same thing as what I was saying earlier. Okay, so that has to be fixed. If not mentally, if you have the capacity to transmute that, to come to terms with it. Okay, if these relationships with family, or those you consider family, those who are close to you, are causing this oppression and basically your stagnation to get to the next level. Okay, there are times when you really have to say goodbye. Okay, which brings me to the offering that I have right now, because so many twins are going through loss. Okay, and it's an inevitable part of our life's journey. So whether it's the death of a loved one, a failed relationship, or falling out with your friend, having your heart broken, or because what you hoped for didn't quite materialize. Okay, so that comes with grief, despair, and loneliness, and so we really have to come to terms with it and accept that, and that's only when we can move forward in the light once more. So there's this acceptance healing Reiki that's going to be up on the website, and this is a 30-minute session that will help deal with the acceptance of a loss. Okay, it could be yours, it could be a friend's, and you would, sometimes it happens to our friends, and you would like to help out, but you don't know how. And this is going to include divine healing codes for consolation and comfort that only the Divine Mother can give, and to help you, if it's you or your friend, to endure pain and to persevere in life, because sometimes it's very hard to get past this wall. Okay, and to experience unconditional love. Usually when people are going through something, they feel very much isolated and alone, and this is going to help them. And and of course codes for new horizons, so that they can see past that big black insurmountable wall that lies before them at present. Okay, so if this is you, and you need help, or you know somebody who is going through something and needs a jump start to get to move on, okay, from heartbreak, from loss, from death, from grief, then this is something that you may want to consider. Okay? So that's what I have for you this week. Take care, everyone. Bye.